The stars stretched endlessly across the sky as the small exploration ship, Aurora's Light, glided silently through the void. Inside, Dr. Alara Venn stared at the console, her fingers hovering over the controls, though she barely needed them. Her mind was elsewhere, thinking of the mission ahead. She had traveled for months to reach this distant world, a planet shrouded in mystery and danger. The planet, designated as Cyrus 7, was unlike anything humanity had seen before. Its surface shimmered with strange, golden vegetation that seemed to glow faintly even under the pale light of its twin suns. Sensors had indicated a breathable atmosphere and life forms, but no signs of intelligent civilization. That made Alara's mission both thrilling and terrifying. She had to explore, study, and, if possible, contact any form of life. As the ship descended, alarms suddenly beeped. "Alara, I'm detecting a life form nearby," said Kale, the ship's AI. Its voice was calm, but the words set her heart racing. "It appears injured. Vital signs are unstable." Alara frowned, gripping the edge of the console. "Show me," she said. The main screen flickered to reveal a figure lying motionless on the golden grass below. Its skin was pale blue and its body was delicate, almost fragile. Alara's heart clenched. Whoever or whatever this was, it needed help. "Can we land?" she asked. "Yes," Kale replied. "But be advised, environmental readings are unknown. Proceed with caution." Alara nodded and guided the Auroras. "Light down." As the landing gear touched the ground, dust and golden pollen swirled around her boots. The injured creature stirred slightly, a soft groan escaping its lips. Its eyes fluttered open, revealing luminous violet irises. For a moment they locked with Alara's, and she felt a strange, immediate connection, an instinct to protect, to save. She knelt beside the creature. "It's okay," she whispered. "You're safe now." The being's breathing was shallow, and its skin had begun to pale even further. Alara quickly assessed its condition. It had no visible wounds, but its vital signs were dropping rapidly. This was unusual. "Kale, analyze blood chemistry. We may need a transfusion," she said urgently. "Analysis complete," Kale responded. "The subject's physiology is not compatible with known human blood. However, its cells are receptive to certain oxygen-carrying proteins found in human hemoglobin." Alara's brow furrowed. "You're saying it could survive a human blood transfusion?" "Yes. There is a risk, but without it, the subject will not survive." Alara hesitated. For a fraction of a second, risky, but what choice did she have? She drew a deep breath and carefully prepared the emergency transfusion kit. Her own blood would be the only immediate option. Minutes later, the procedure began. The creature's violet eyes remained locked on hers, almost as if it understood what she was doing. Slowly, ever so slowly, its breathing stabilized. Color returned to its skin, and its pulse strengthened. Alara felt a rush of relief. "You're going to be okay," she murmured. The creature's lips curved into the faintest smile, and it whispered a sound that seemed more like a vibration than words. Then, as if exhausted, it collapsed into a deep, healing sleep. Alara stepped back, wiping sweat from her forehead. "That was intense," she said, looking at Kyle. "Indeed. The transfusion appears successful. The subject's body is stabilizing at a rate faster than expected." Alara couldn't help but marvel at what she had done. Human blood, so ordinary on Earth, had saved this alien life. She felt pride and awe, a strange warmth spreading through her chest. Yet there was also unease. Something about the connection had felt different, almost profound. Over the next few hours, Alara monitored the creature closely. It remained unconscious, but its vital signs were strong. As she sat in the golden grass beside it, she noticed subtle changes she couldn't explain. A soft hum in the air, a faint glow emanating from the creature's chest, pulsing gently in rhythm with her own heartbeat. She leaned closer. "Are you trying to tell me something?" she whispered. The creature's eyes fluttered open again, and this time, they were sharper, more alert. It reached out a delicate hand toward her, and as their fingers brushed, Ilara felt a sudden warmth, a strange energy flowing through her. Her head spun for a moment, but she held steady. Kyle's voice cut through her thoughts. Dr. Venn, I am detecting an unusual reaction between your physiology and the subjects. The energy readings are unprecedented. Ilara frowned. Energy readings? Explain. Unknown. It appears the transfusion has triggered a physiological resonance. Further observation is advised. Ilara nodded, her curiosity outweighing her concern. She had read about human bodies, interacting with alien life in unpredictable ways, but nothing like this. She carefully recorded every detail, every pulse and flicker of light. As night fell over Sirius 7, the twin suns dipping below the horizon, Ilara finally allowed herself a moment of rest. She sat beside the healing creature, its breathing calm and steady. Somewhere deep inside her, a faint, inexplicable awareness told her that this encounter was only the beginning. Something profound had begun the moment her blood touched this alien life. She didn't know it yet, but that single act of kindness, giving her blood to save a life, had already set events into motion that no human, not even herself, could fully understand. And as the golden grass whispered in the gentle wind, Ilara could feel a tiny spark, like a seed of something extraordinary, taking root deep within her. The night on Sirius 7 was unlike anything Ilara had experienced. The sky shimmered with a pale violet glow, and tiny motes of light floated through the air, like distant stars drifting close to the ground. She stayed by the creature's side, unable to leave, even when exhaustion tugged at her eyelids. When the creature stirred again, it no longer seemed weak or fragile. Its violet eyes opened fully, sharp and alert, and it studied her with an intensity that made her feel exposed and understood at the same time. You saved me," it said, its voice soft, melodic, almost musical. Though Ilara couldn't understand the words fully, she sensed gratitude. "You're safe now," she replied. "That's what matters." It nodded slowly, and then something unexpected happened. It reached toward her stomach, placing a hand lightly over her abdomen. A shiver ran down her spine. She tried to pull back, but she couldn't. The gesture wasn't threatening. Somehow, she felt warmth, reassurance, and a strange connection she couldn't explain. "Kyle," she whispered. "What's happening?" Kale's voice remained calm, but there was an unusual note in its tone. "I am detecting a physiological reaction between your body and the subject that appears unprecedented. Unusual energy is focused in the lower abdomen region. Analysis is inconclusive." Ilara frowned. "Energy? What kind of energy?" "Unknown. The subject's cellular structure interacts with your biology in a way that defies current scientific understanding." Ilara's mind raced. Could the transfusion really have caused this? She had only wanted to save a life. She had never imagined her own body could respond in such an extraordinary way. The alien slowly withdrew its hand and spoke again, its voice like a soft vibration inside her mind rather than just her ears. This time she understood, not in words, but in feeling. It was a communication older and deeper than language itself, a connection born of life-saving blood, trust, and shared energy. Days passed, though Ilara had no sense of time. Sirius 7's. Twin suns rose and fell, casting long golden shadows over the alien landscape. The creature, which she had started calling Leora for simplicity, healed rapidly. Its movements were graceful, almost effortless, as if the planet itself nurtured it. Ilara spent her days observing Leora and studying its physiology. Every time they touched, or even shared a glance, she felt the same strange warmth, the subtle energy that seemed to ripple through her body. She couldn't explain it, and Kale's analysis only made her more uneasy. "Dr. Venn," Kale said one morning, "your body shows changes. Hormonal and cellular activity is elevated in ways not consistent with normal human biology." Ilara turned sharply. "Changes? What kind of changes?" "Impossible to define fully," Kyle replied. However, signs suggest a response to Leora's cellular resonance. Further observation is advised. Alara swallowed hard. She felt a sudden flutter, like something stirring deep within her. It was faint, but undeniable. She froze, unsure what to make of it. Leora noticed immediately. It stepped closer, tilting its head. "Do not fear," it said, its musical tone soothing, though she didn't fully understand the words. Somehow she knew the meaning. Its connection with her was protective, comforting. Over the next week, the bond between them grew stronger. Alara found herself drawn to Leora, not in a romantic way, but as if their lives were intertwined in ways beyond comprehension. She was awake to every subtle change in the creature, every flicker of its energy, every sound it made. And the energy, inside her, a mysterious spark that had begun after the transfusion, pulsed gently like it was alive. One evening, as the twin suns set in a blaze of gold and violet, Alara collapsed into the grass. The strange energy flared suddenly and she felt dizzy. She tried to stand but couldn't. Leora rushed to her side, placing a hand over her heart. "You feel it too," she whispered. Leora nodded. "Yes, it is the gift of life you gave, but also a bond. Something new begins because of it." Alara's mind raced. "A bond? What do you mean?" Leora reached out, brushing her hand over Alara's stomach again. The energy surged, stronger than ever. It was not pain, not discomfort, more, a gentle awake. Days turned into a week on Sirius 7, though time seemed fluid under the glow of the twin suns. Alara felt changes in her body that she could not ignore. The energy Leora had awakened inside her pulsed constantly, a gentle but persistent rhythm that seemed almost alive. She had always believed science could explain everything, but now, standing on this alien world, she faced something beyond human understanding. Alara walked through the golden grass, observing Leora as it practiced subtle movements across the landscape. The alien moved with a grace that made every step seem deliberate, like it was dancing with the planet itself. When it noticed her watching, it paused and tilted its head, as if sensing her concern. "I feel different," Alara admitted quietly, "like something inside me is changing." Leora approached slowly, its violet eyes soft and reassuring. It placed a hand over her stomach once again. The energy surged through her body, warm and vibrant, making her knees wobble. "It is the life you gave returning to you," it said. Though she didn't understand the words fully, she felt the meaning. The gift she had offered, the blood, was now part of her, creating something new, something mysterious. Alara sat on the golden grass, breathing heavily, as Kale's voice interrupted her thoughts. "Dr. Venn, I am detecting rapid cellular activity within your body. Hormonal and genetic markers indicate an unusual reproductive development." "This is unprecedented," Alara's eyes widened. "Reproductive development?" she repeated. "You mean pregnancy?" "Unknown. It resembles pregnancy in basic terms, but the mechanisms are not human," Kyle replied. "Further monitoring is essential. Any physical stress may affect the subject or the ongoing process." Alara's mind raced. She had saved Leora, yes, but she never imagined her own body would respond in this way. And yet, as she placed a hand over her abdomen, she could feel the faintest stirrings of something alive, something small yet undeniable growing within her. "I need to understand this," she murmured, her gaze lifting to Leora. The alien watched her silently, a faint glow pulsing from its chest. It did not speak, but Alara sensed approval, reassurance, and perhaps even gratitude. The connection between them was no longer simple. It was profound, almost sacred. As the days passed, Alara kept careful records, documenting every change. Her body grew warmer, her senses sharper, and at times she could feel subtle movements, small pulses that made her heart race. At night, she would lie beside Leora, letting the alien's calming presence steady her. The energy flowing between them had become a rhythm, a silent heartbeat shared across species. One evening, as the twin suns dipped below the horizon, Ilara felt a sudden surge. A warm wave of energy rolled through her, making her gasp. She clutched her stomach, feeling the first unmistakable signs that whatever was developing inside her was alive, responsive, and aware. Kale's voice was calm but urgent. "Dr. Venn, vital readings indicate accelerated growth. This stage is critical. Any sudden movement or emotional stress may impact the subject or the ongoing development." Ilara nodded, swallowing hard. I understand, Kale." She looked at Leora, who approached and placed a hand gently on her shoulder. The alien's touch reassured her. Somehow she knew she was not alone in this experience. The bond they shared was more than connection. It was collaboration, life intertwining with life. Night after night, Ilara felt the mysterious growth within her strengthen. She learned to listen to the tiny pulses, to respond with calm and steady energy. Leora often mirrored her movements, its glowing eyes locked on hers as if guiding her, teaching her. And then one morning, a breakthrough occurred. Ilara awoke to a soft melodic sound in her mind. It was Leora's voice, though not in words. She understood it clearly. "The bond is stronger now. You carry life. It is safe." Tears filled Ilara's eyes. "Safe," she whispered, more to herself than to the alien. She could feel the tiny life moving with intention, aware of her presence and somehow communicating. The experience was surreal, beyond any human science or logic she had studied for years. Kale's analysis confirmed the bond's growth. "Dr. Venn, the subject's energy has integrated with your biology. Life development is progressing at a rate beyond human capability. Monitoring is required, but indicators show stability and viability." Ilara nodded, feeling a mixture of awe, fear, and wonder. She had saved Leora's life, and in doing so, she had created life herself. It was an act of courage and compassion, yet it had unleashed something miraculous and unprecedented. The human gift of blood had sparked a connection that transcended species and biology. Over the next few days, she learned to move carefully, to channel her energy with intention, and to trust the silent guidance of Leora. Together, they explored the strange landscapes of Sirius 7, the golden grass brushing their feet, the twin suns casting long shadows. Every step, every movement reinforced the bond between them. Ilara often wondered what this new life would become. Would it resemble a human, an alien, or something entirely new? She had no answers, only a deep sense of responsibility and a quiet determination. Whatever happened, she would protect it as she had protected Leora, as she had protected life itself. One night, lying under the alien stars, Ilara whispered, "I don't know what you are yet, but I will keep you safe." The energy in her body pulsed gently in response, almost like an acknowledgement, a tiny heartbeat shared across the void between human and alien. The journey that began with a simple act of saving a life had become something far greater. A bond had formed, a new life had begun, and the universe itself seemed to recognize the miracle unfolding on the golden fields of Sirius 7. Ilara closed her eyes, breathing deeply. She did not yet understand the full implications of what was happening inside her, but she knew this. Human courage, compassion, and resilience had created something extraordinary. Sirius 7's skies were painted in gold and violet as the twin suns rose over the horizon. Ilara woke to a soft hum, a gentle vibration resonating through the air. She stretched, feeling the familiar pulse of energy within her body. It had become stronger over the past few days, more insistent and impossible to ignore. She placed a hand over her abdomen and felt a faint rhythmic movement. Her heart quickened. The life inside her was no longer a mystery. It was alive, responsive, and growing. She had expected changes, but the intensity of this bond surpassed everything she had imagined. "Kale," she whispered, still lying on the golden grass. Status report. Dr. Venn, Kyle replied. Development indicators are stable, but accelerating. Cellular integration with the subject is nearing full synchronization. Biological activity is far beyond human norms. Observation is critical. Alara nodded, her eyes flicking toward Leora, who was standing nearby, watching her with gentle violet eyes. There was no fear in those eyes, only curiosity, trust, and care. Leora stepped closer, reaching a hand to her shoulder. The connection pulsed again, the energy flowing between them stronger than ever. Alara tried to rise, but a sudden wave of dizziness forced her to sit back. The movement inside her abdomen grew stronger, more distinct. She realized that whatever was happening, it wasn't just growth, it was the early stirrings of consciousness. She could feel awareness in the tiny life forming within her. Leora crouched beside her, resting a hand lightly over hers. Though it did not speak in words, Alara felt the meaning clearly. It is alive. It is safe. We are connected. Days passed, each one more intense than the last. Alara had begun to sense moods and subtle shifts in Leora's energy, and in turn, Leora seemed to respond to her thoughts and emotions. The bond between human and alien had deepened beyond understanding. 1. Afternoon, as Alara tended to her medical equipment, she noticed something remarkable. The tiny life within her reacted to her voice. When she spoke softly, the movements became rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat responding to hers. When she laughed, a playful flutter echoed within her. She gasped in awe. "This is incredible," she murmured, brushing her fingers over her stomach. "It's responding to me." Kale's voice sounded almost reverent. "Dr. Venn, the subject within your body exhibits responsiveness and adaptation at a level previously undocumented in human or alien biology. This is unprecedented." Alara nodded slowly. "I know, Kyle. I can feel it." Leora joined her at the edge of the golden plains. Its violet eyes glimmered as it observed the subtle movements of the life forming inside Alara. Though it said nothing, she felt reassurance in its presence. The bond was no longer one-sided. It was shared, mutual, and profound. The next morning, as she awoke to the soft glow of Cyrus VII's twin suns, Alara felt a sharper, stronger movement within her. It was no longer subtle. It was deliberate, as if the life inside her was stretching, discovering and becoming aware. She sat up slowly, her hands gently cradling her abdomen. "Kyle, log all vital signs continuously," she instructed, her voice steady, despite the excitement racing through her mind. "Every pulse, every movement, everything." "Affirmative," Kale replied. "Data collection ongoing, vital readings are stable. Emotional synchronization between you and the subject is increasing." Alara looked at Leora, who stepped closer. It placed its hand lightly on hers, the glow in its chest pulsing in rhythm with her own heartbeat. The tiny life inside her reacted, instantly, sending a wave of warmth and energy through her entire body. She gasped, overcome by the intensity, for he felt a connection that went beyond. Days on Sirius 7 had begun to blur for Alara. The twin suns rose and set in a steady rhythm, painting the golden grass in shifting hues of violet and amber. Each morning, she woke with the familiar pulse of energy flowing within her. A life that had begun from a simple act of compassion, but had grown into something extraordinary. Alara moved carefully, each step deliberate, attuned to the subtle stirrings of the tiny life within her. It had grown stronger and more responsive with every passing day. She could feel it reacting to sounds, light, and even her own emotions. She had come to understand that it was not simply growing, it was learning, connecting, and forming awareness. Leora had become her constant companion. The alien moved gracefully around her, its glowing chest pulsing in harmony with her own heartbeat. Though they could not communicate fully in words, the bond between them was deep and unshakable. Leora's presence reassured her, as if it understood, not only the life she carried, but the significance of what had begun inside her. One morning, Alara awoke to a stronger, sharper movement in her abdomen. She gasped, clutching her stomach as warmth and energy radiated through her body. The tiny life within her had begun to stir with intention, responding to her very thoughts. She looked to Leora, who approached slowly, its violet eyes filled with concern and understanding. "It is stronger today," Ilara whispered, her voice trembling with awe. "I can feel it. Learning, growing, reacting." Leora crouched beside her, placing a hand over hers. The connection pulsed between them, stronger than ever. She felt a wave of calm energy flowing through her, almost as if the alien was guiding, the tiny life within her helping it grow safely. Kale's voice broke the silence. "Dr. Venn, biological readings indicate accelerated growth and development. Neural patterns suggest increasing awareness and adaptive intelligence. This is unprecedented in any human or alien life form recorded." Ilara swallowed hard, her mind racing. "It's aware," she whispered. "It knows I'm here. It reacts when I move, when I speak, when I breathe." "Yes," Kyle confirmed. "The connection between you and the subject has become symbiotic. Both parties influence each other. Observation is critical to understanding further developments." Over the following days, Ilara observed the tiny life more closely. When she laughed, it pulsed in response. When she hummed a tune, it fluttered, in rhythm with the sound. At times it even seemed to anticipate her movements, responding before she acted. She could feel its awareness growing, almost as if it were learning from her, absorbing patterns and energy like a sponge. Leora remained at her side constantly, providing a silent, steadying presence. Its glowing chest often pulsed in harmony, with the tiny life within Ilara, a visible sign of the bond that had formed between human and alien. It was as if all three, the human, the alien, and the new life, were connected in a single rhythm, each pulse reinforcing the others. One afternoon, as the twin suns cast long shadows across the plains, Ilara felt a sudden surge of energy unlike any she had experienced before. The tiny life inside her reacted instantly, sending waves of warmth through her entire body. She fell to the grass, breathless, as Leora knelt beside her, hands hovering over hers, its glow bright and steady. "You are extraordinary," she whispered almost to herself. "I didn't know something like this could exist." Leora's eyes softened and the connection pulsed again, a silent acknowledgement that transcended words. Ilara realized that the tiny life within her was not only surviving, it was thriving, and it was forming a bond that was beyond human comprehension. That night, under the soft glow of the twin suns' fading light, Ilara lay beside Leora, feeling the gentle rhythm of life pulsing inside her. She reached out, brushing her fingers against the alien's hand. The energy surged, and she felt the tiny life respond instantly, almost as if it recognized both of them as part of its world. Kale's voice broke the quiet again. "Dr. Venn, patterns suggest cognitive growth and environmental awareness. The Adayu subject is learning to respond to stimuli and is forming early problem-solving abilities. Emotional and energetic responses are significant and unprecedented." Ilara nodded, tears forming in her eyes. "I never imagined this," she said softly. "I only wanted to save Leora. I never imagined it would lead to this life, this bond." Leora's presence reassured her, and for the first time she allowed herself to truly relax. She placed her hands over her abdomen, feeling the tiny life stirring gently, almost as if it understood the words she had spoken. The sensation was comforting, empowering, and awe-inspiring all at once. Over the next week, Ilara continued to observe and nurture the tiny life within her. Each day brought new signs of growth and awareness. It reacted to light, touch, and sound with increasing precision. She began to sense a pattern, a rhythm in its development that suggested intelligence and learning far beyond what any human or alien could predict. And throughout it all, Leora remained by her side, their bond growing stronger with every passing moment. Together they had created something miraculous, an entirely new life born from compassion, courage, and the extraordinary resilience of humanity. Alara looked up at the alien stars, her fingers resting gently over her abdomen. The tiny life pulsed in response, a soft, reassuring beat. She knew this was only the beginning of an incredible journey, one that would test her courage, her understanding, and the very limits of what she thought was possible. She whispered softly, her voice full of determination and wonder, "I will protect you. I will guide you. Whatever happens, we will face it together." And for the first time, she felt the tiny life respond with a pulse that seemed almost like acknowledgement, a shared heartbeat across species, a silent promise of connection and trust. The universe had given her a gift beyond imagination, and she would honor it. The twin suns of Sirius 7 rose slowly, painting the golden plains in warm hues of amber and violet. Alara woke with the familiar pulse of energy coursing through her body. The tiny life within her stirred with strength and awareness that had grown far beyond what she had imagined. This morning felt different. The energy was more focused, almost purposeful. Alara knew something significant was about to happen. She sat up carefully, her hands resting on her abdomen, feeling the rhythm of the tiny life within her. Each pulse, each movement, was like a message, a connection she could now sense more clearly than ever. Leora appeared beside her, moving gracefully across the glowing grass. Its violet eyes were filled with curiosity and concern. The alien knelt and placed a hand over hers, the pulse of its energy harmonizing with hers. The bond they shared, the bond with the life inside her, was stronger than ever. "Kyle," she said softly. "What's happening now?" "Dr. Venn," Kale replied. "Development indicators show the life form is preparing for a significant stage of emergence. Physiological synchronization between you and the subject is near completion. Observation and care are critical." Alara nodded. She had come this far by trusting her instincts, by trusting Leora, and by embracing the mystery of the tiny life she carried. She took a deep breath, allowing herself to feel the connection fully. The energy pulsed like a heartbeat, steady and alive. As the day progressed, the movement within her grew stronger and more deliberate. The tiny life seemed to respond to everything around it, the gentle rustle of the golden grass, the warmth of the suns, the touch of Leora's hand. It was aware, intelligent, and ready to begin a new stage of life. Alara felt a wave of nervous excitement. "I hope I can do this," she whispered to Leora. The alien simply placed its hand over hers. Again, the pulse of energy reassured her, and she felt the tiny life respond with a flutter, almost like a heartbeat of acknowledgement. She understood. She was not alone. They were all connected, working together to bring this new life safely into existence. Hours passed in quiet preparation. Alara monitored her own body closely, guided by Kale's continuous analysis. Leora remained beside her, offering silent guidance through subtle gestures and the comforting glow of its chest. The twin suns moved slowly across the sky, shifting shadows over the plains until the final moments arrived. Alara lay down carefully, closing her eyes and breathing steadily. She focused on the tiny life within her, feeling its energy, its awareness, and its bond to both her and Leora. A soft surge of warmth ran through her body, and she felt the first sign of emergence, a gentle, conscious movement that sent a shiver of awe down her spine. The moment was delicate, quiet, and profound. Leora moved closer, brushing a hand against hers, their energies pulsing together in harmony. Alara whispered softly, "You're safe. You're ready." And then, slowly, deliberately, the tiny life began to emerge. Not in the way humans were accustomed to, but in a way that was unique, extraordinary, and perfectly attuned to the bond they had created. A soft glow radiated from her abdomen, gentle and warm, and she felt a presence that was intelligent, aware, and alive. It was not human. Yet it carried the essence of both human and alien life. Its awareness flowed through her senses, a shared consciousness that was both comforting and awe-inspiring. Ilara's heart swelled with pride, gratitude, and wonder. The act of saving Leora's life had sparked something miraculous, the creation of a new being, born from courage, compassion, and the extraordinary resilience of humanity. The tiny life responded to her voice, to her touch, and to the presence of Leora. Epo,